All right, let's talk about a concept in database design that is super powerful, but honestly doesn't get enough attention. I'm talking about the alternate key. It's a really simple idea that can seriously level up your data's integrity and, trust me, make your life as a developer a whole lot easier. So to really get why alternate keys are so awesome, let's kick things off with a problem that I bet every single one of you has run into. It all boils down to this fundamental mismatch between how we as people think about data and how a database sees the world. Just think about it for a second. You, the human, know your user as alice@example.com. That's a real, tangible piece of information. But your database? Nah. It probably knows that exact same user as just a number, maybe 101. And that disconnect right there is the root of the problem. I mean, seriously, relying only on that auto-incrementing student ID is kind of like trying to find someone in a phone book that's sorted by a random account number instead of by their name. It's just not how the real world works. You have this perfect, natural identifier, the email, but your database is making you use this abstract, meaningless number. Okay, so what's the fix? How do we bridge this gap? Well, the solution lies in getting to know what I like to call the key family. Let's quickly break down the three main types of keys that help us keep our data in check. First up, we have the candidate key. The best way to think about these is like all the qualified candidates applying for a job. In a student's table, for instance, the student ID could uniquely identify a student, for sure. But hey, so could their email. Both of them are totally valid candidates for being the main identifier. Now, from that pool of candidates, you gotta pick one to be the boss, the official, number one main identifier, and that is your primary key. We usually go with that auto-incrementing integer ID because, it's simple, it's fast, and it's really efficient for the database to work with behind the scenes. And that brings us to the star of today's show, the alternate key. An alternate key is simply one of those other candidates that didn't get picked to be the primary. You can think of it as the runner-up. It might not have gotten the top job, but it's just as powerful because it is also, and this is the important part, guaranteed to be unique. So let's boil it all down. The key takeaway here is that an alternate key is basically another door into your data. You've still got the main front door, your primary key, but now you have this other side door that's often way more convenient and human-friendly to use. Both doors lead to the exact same room. Okay, enough theory. How do we actually do this in MySQL? How do we tell our database, hey, treat this column as an alternate key? You're gonna love how easy this is. It all comes down to one simple superpower of a keyword. So when you're creating a new table, you declare your primary key, just like you always do. No surprises there. Then, for whatever column you want to be your alternate key, you just add the unique constraint. That's it. This one word tells the database, hey, listen up. No duplicates are allowed in this column, ever. It also automatically creates an index, which makes looking up data by that column super, super fast. All right, that's the theory. But seeing this in action is where it really clicks. So let's get our hands dirty and build out a simple students table to see how this all works. Okay, check out our table structure. We've got our student ID as the primary key. Standard stuff. But look closer at the email column. See that unique constraint? Bam! That officially makes the email column our alternate key. It's now another unique and fully indexed way to pinpoint any student in this table. So now we can start adding some people. We add a record for Alice, works great, one for Bob, no problem, and one for Charlie, you're in. Everything is smooth sailing because, you guessed it, every single email is different. The database is happy, our data is clean, it's a win-win. But now, here's the moment of truth. This is where the magic happens. What if we try to break the rule we just set up? What if we try to sneak in a new student, but we use an email that's already taken? And boom, the database slams the door shut. It throws this duplicate entry error. And I want you to remember this. That is not a bug. That is a feature. That's our alternate key doing its job. It's standing guard, protecting the integrity of our data by preventing a second student from ever having Alice's email. And here's a really cool part. You don't have to get this perfect on day one. You can always add an alternate key to a table that's already full of data. For example, maybe a year from now you decide that every student's phone number should also be unique. No problem. You just run the alter table command, add that unique constraint to the phone column, and you're good to go. So we've seen what alternate keys are and how they work. Let's just zoom out for a second and talk about the big picture. Why should you actually care about using these in your projects? So why does this all matter? Well, this isn't just some academic database theory. Using alternate keys enforces real-world business rules. It guarantees that a username, an email, or a product code is truly one of a kind in your entire system. This not only makes your database more reliable, it literally stops bad data at the front door before it ever gets a chance to cause chaos. And that brings us to the end. So I'll leave you with a little piece of homework. Go look at your own tables, in your own projects. Do you have a username column, a product SKU, an ISBN number? I bet you do. Those are perfect candidates for an alternate key, just sitting there, waiting for you to make them official and make your database that much stronger.